all high flows, like I know him and I, but so I think that in the past, let me say 4 or 5 years ago, we used to be just in three winemakers, up to 160, 70 maybe in total on the volcano, which are making 100% Nerello Cappuccio grapes. Maybe today we are five, but this grape variety has always been a sort of second row actor on the volcano. It's like the perfect blending partner for Nerello Mascalese. It's really helpful for, first of all, historically, people blend Nerello Cappuccio with Nerello Mascalese because of color. It's great for adding a little bit of color to Mascalese, which is always, you are tasting it now, and you can see that, yeah, you have this light ruby color. It's very elegant, it's very feminine. So Cappuccio helps to give a little bit of color, but also a little bit of freshness. The Cappuccio is always very soft in tannins, high acidity, so it's helping. And the primary aromas are very, very intense, so it's helping the Mascalese in the first or second year also to soften a little bit the tannins and give a sort of smooth push to the Etna DOC Classico. But in this wine, there is like 8% of Nerello Cappuccio because it's growing mixed up with Mascalese. The traditional harvest is to mix up everything and make an Etna Rosso. Today, it's mandatory. We must have at least 80% Mascalese. So you can put 20% Cappuccio if you want. But, as you said, we make 100% Nerello Cappuccio. It's probably a very didactic wine as this one because it's just stainless steel. So we want to keep the soul of the Nerello Cappuccio alive. And as I mentioned, not the same tannins, not the same aging potential, not the same elegance through the years as the Mascalese, but I love to drink a young Nerello Cappuccio, and it's blending and pairing perfectly even with fish. So
with
for
fish.
yeah, not a delicate fish, but let me say maybe a tuna, a swordfish works perfectly with Cappuccio because the alcohol is low, few tannins, very floral, very fresh. So for people that maybe doesn't like to drink white wine, they can really pair perfectly fish and Cappuccio together.
That's a great point because I think that a big misconception in the United States is that you can only drink white wine with fish. And so, I mean, you go to Sicily, I mean, seafood is like a major part of your culinary background and it's your main, right? So you guys drink your red wines with your fish.
Yeah, often actually depends, as I said, on the kind of fish, but our diet is mostly focused. I mean, on Mount Etna, it's more focused on hearty things like mushrooms or forest diet, more or less. But here nearby the sea, in Catania, where I am right now, it's really, really super fish based the diet. So why not? Nice red wine with fish. It's possible.
I wish I was by the sea right now.
I cannot go there actually. So
no, I'm sure.
I just breathe the air of the sea.
Yeah. So, and that's funny because my next question was actually going to be your classic Etna food and wine pairings. Like a lot of people always ask me, what do I eat with this? When I open Etna Rosso, I because of the nice acidity and the nice minerality, I always put it with any kind of Italian food. To be honest, it goes well with a sauce. It goes well with a lot of things. It's very food friendly wine.
Yeah. It's. I completely agree with you. The alcohol is not very intense in the Rossi. Even though we are tasting Sicilian wines, we have to focus on Mount Etna. It's as you said, it's more than 10,000 feet high. So we are really tasting mountain wines. We should not expect something gem or heavy like a south side Sicilian wine could be. All the Rossi, the red wines are very thin and delicate, so it works perfectly. With Erse Rosso, I can make my dinner pairing here because I had it 1 hour ago and it was a nice lasagna with artichokes and provola, which is a local cheese,
So
and it works good. It works good. Um,
my friend
fish.
Thompson is having arancini with Etna Bianco.
So who is wine?
My
But
friend,
wine
yeah.
chronicles. We could be friends because my perfect pet with Etna Bianco is arancino with sarde. So sarde it's a local fish. Um, it's similar to a sardine. It's something in between a sardine and a tuna. It's not so
Okay.
big. That kind of shape, that kind of taste. And we make this arancino with pine nuts, capers, of course, tomato, and it's a classic arancino plus the fish with a nice maybe fish sauce beneath. And Erce Bianco is just cleaning with this citric note all your palate. So uh, I'm starving again. I can
I know.
start. I
I'm
can make a
laughing
second.
because my friend my friend has this amazing account called Shitty Wine Memes, and she's hilarious. And she says, "Meanwhile, I'm eating hot pockets." Go over here. I don't know if you know what that is. I don't know if you guys. It's like a microwave.
I'm not
It's,
not comfortable with hot pockets actually, but
he's
what
not
is
comfortable with hot pockets.
what is that?
It's like a frozen. It's like a frozen microwave. It's like a frozen meal. I don't know. You put it in the microwave and you nuke it for like 2 minutes and it's
That sounds amazing.
I'm crying.
Yeah, it's a pizza roll.
It's
Why?
like a pizza
Why
roll
would-
but frozen.
okay, a frozen pizza roll. But why not? Why not? Etna Bianco sounds good on everything more or less. So
That's true.
why not?
Okay, so I also wanted to ask, you guys do like a crew wine. It's called the Il Musmeci. So this is named after the people that owned Fessina before Sylvia. Is that true?
So Mr. Ignazio Musmeci, yes. He was more or less so when Silvia was looking for a special place to make wine, she was introduced to Mr. Ignazio Musmeci by another winemaker on Mount Etna, Salvo Foti, which is another pioneer on the volcano. So Salvo introduced Silvia to Mr. Ignazio, and Mr. Ignazio was taking care of Fessina at that time, so the main building, and it was. I always say when I talk about this thing that the passing of torch from Ignazio to Silvia was something important for the story of Fessina because she took something historical and just converted it into the future of the estate. So she's always very emotional when she speaks about Ignazio and all the story of Fessina. And of course, she even dedicated our best red wine to Mr. Ignazio. The name of the wine is Il Musmeci, and she dedicated to make a very precise end selection. Actually, we make a double end selection twice in order to make this wine from the oldest vines of the estate. It's more or less 1.5 hectares of centennial vines that we select always in late October. Let me say that in general, we harvest on Mount Etna in October because of altitude and because of the genotypes. So it's late harvest by itself. But when we make in Musmeci, we always go around the third decade of October. So it's late.
So it has like this beautiful long growing season. So you get this like optimal ripeness, but like just beautiful aromatics as well.
Also, that's also the beauty of Mount Etna. All the rest of the island harvest, let me say, between the last decade of August and the first one of September, and we harvest in October. So Mount Etna is even more than 1 month in delay compared to the rest of the island. But this wine in Musmeci is always the last one of the estate, and even the longest aging in the cellar itself, because it makes 1 year in Tonneau French oak and the second year in 35 hectoliters French oak as well, and many years in bottle, at least 4. So
it's incredible. Yeah, I
As
remember we had
them.
so I had the 15 or 16, and then when we met you, we had the next vintage. Um,
We, I don't remember. Maybe we tasted 14 together. I'm not sure. Maybe.
oh, you're right. It was older. I'm thinking, yeah, it was definitely older. I had the one on my own before we met, and then when we met, we had the next the one that's currently being
Mm,
sold.
def-
And so it is beyond. I actually included it in my Valentine's Day blog post, guys.
Thanks.
I will reach out to Vineyard Brands, that's who imports Fessina, and we will. I can also let you guys know where to buy the Musmeci because that's like their crew, their top of the line. It's amazing. It was definitely one of my favorite Etna wines that I've ever had. So we'll definitely get that info. Vineyard Brands. Yes, we tasted the 2014.
That's it.
There
Thank
we go.
you.
Okay, so
But
I just have a couple questions for you
please,
as well that came from my Instagram followers. So one person wanted to know what you personally, what your personal favorite wine is. Do you love just Sicilian wines, or are there other wines regions out there that you love?
mm, besides Mount Etna and Sicily, um, can I say something like in worldwide or just Italian wines?
In the whole world.
In the whole world, I'm a French wine lover. I love to drink Burgundy and Champagne, really. But uh,
Good choice.
let me say my favorite right now. It's impossible to say my favorite in general because I always discover new things. Wine is an infinite universe, and but let me say that I love Antoine Jobard wines. It's a Merceau producer, also Merceau,
Oh,
different label, French wines. But I love my favorite regions, which is not a Sicilian, so which is not Sicily, it's Piedmont. I love Langhe wines. I'm a huge, huge lover of Barolo, Barbanesco, and Nebbiolo.
those are great wines too. Those would probably be up there for Italian wines for me too. That would be also up there, Piemonte.
Yeah.
And then we had an amazing question from somebody anonymous from New York who wants to
Okay.
know if you're single.
No,
This is a
no,
real question.
I'm not
Okay.
single. My girlfriend is over there on the other side. Oh, oh,
I had to ask. Someone asked me, so I
no,
promised
I know. Who asked that?
I'll tell you later.
Oh boy.
One of our friends. Okay. Sorry, had to ask.
Oh,
Yeah, so if you guys had any other questions, you can either ask now or put it in the question box. The only other thing that someone did ask was, and I don't know if I'm saying it right, basalt, Basalt, in the soil.
yeah, oh, we
Basalt.
have an incredible amount of basalt on Mount Etna. Even I love sometimes, it's silly, but sometimes you can really see the history of the volcano through a lava rock wall. Everything it's like compressed in a single rock, and sometimes you can see the different shades and the oxidation of the iron, the basalt. It's beautiful. You should see it, but watching a lava flow, it's tracking back through the centuries, and you can really understand why the wines are so unique. So yeah, we have a huge quantity of basalt. We use basalt for many, many things, like building houses, building cellars. You can find basalt all
That's
around
cool.
one.
Okay, so my friend Tom wants to know, does using chestnut stakes for the vines add to the flavor of the grapes?
No, no. It's
Okay.
it's it's just tradition, and Mount Etna is completely surrounded by chestnut forest, so it's the main kind of wood that we use since ever in order to manage the fields. You can check some pictures on the web or on even on our website, tenutadifessina.com. You can see the chestnut stick, and each vine is sustained by a single chestnut stick. So
That's great.
yeah.
And the last question, someone wants to know how we met. So as I was mentioning before, Vineyard Brands, who is joining us. So like I said, if you guys have questions on how to find these wines, they can definitely help you out with the distribution. Basically, Vineyard Brands held a tasting with Jacopo when he was in New York City, and he got to meet the Chelsea Wine Society. So we had a fun time tasting through the entire lineup. I think we tasted like 12 wines, maybe 8 to 12 wines.
We tasted a lot of wines.
It was awesome. We did, and it was like a Wednesday or a Thursday, but yeah, it was good. It was perfect.
It was one of the funniest tastings of all my US February trip. So
wait, what'd you say? Sorry, your US
Uh,
February trip?
That was one of the funniest tastings, and that I had the February trip in the US. So really nice memory also for me.
Yeah, my friend Leah, who was at the tasting, said the good old days.
Yeah. Do you remember the good old days?
Yes.
Hanging around, tasting.
Exactly. And someone else just asked, which we talked a little bit about before, but someone just asked if you are affected by the volcano eruptions, but you said
we what does it mean? I mean, the vineyard itself could be affected by the ash, which is incredibly good because remember that the volcanic ash is an incredible fertilizer. So that's great to have a little bit of ash in the field every year. The crazy thing about Mount Etna, the volcano is regenerating itself every day, more or less. So through the years, we always had a layer which is maybe made of, could be basalt, could be tuffo, many different minerals, and black sand, and pumice, and many things, all made by the volcano. So it's 100% affecting us. Not the people often, but could be even the people. Maybe I told you this story a couple years ago, the last recent, if you want to hear something like volcanic accident with people, I can tell one story. A couple years ago, I think that you can find it even on the web. A BBC crew, maybe I told you this story, went too close during an eruption. So that's something that the only thing that you should not do is getting close to the volcano during the eruption. And they did it. And, as you have a lateral crater eruption, sometimes you can have flying rocks.
Mm.
So just imagine it was not a pleasant memory for all them. I'm telling the story because they're all alive and healthy. They get just a little bit roasted, slightly roasted from the volcano, but all were very alive and healthy. So my recommendation: don't get too close to active craters.
Yeah, please. That's a good. That we have a saying. My friends have a saying like, "Don't mess with sharks," or "Don't mess with." It's the same thing like, "Don't mess with the volcano," because it is ruthless, huh? All right, Jacopo, I'm going to kind of wrap this up now. We almost hit an hour, which is crazy. But I just wanted to thank you so much for coming on and sharing all about Tenuta di Fessina with my followers and your followers, and kind of sharing the Etna love on Easter. So I really, really appreciate your time.
Nicole, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It's really a pleasure to share with you with this moment. My greetings, and from me and from Silvia, just wish you an happy Easter. Stay home, drink some wine, and just chill and relax.
Yeah. As my friend said earlier, Nerello Mascalese and chill. So
yeah.
Cheers. Cheers. Salute.
Salute.
Bye.